But 82 games is taxing sometimes, where it gets to a point where you on your fifth game in 6-7 nights, and that fifth game is just like, man, how do I get through this one?
In this interview, Paul George talks about how tough it really is to play all 82 games in an NBA season. Even though NBA players make really good money to play basketball, he explains that it's not just about showing up. It's about dealing with tired bodies, busy travel, and real-life problems off the court. PG also opens up about his depression while playing in the bubble in 2020. Let's hear what he has to say.
Close, relationships built with the guys there, because I plan on being there for the long haul. You know what I mean? I don't, this is my last journey. This is my last stop. So I'm all in on building relationships there. So that's kind of what just my focus was, man. Just focus on these guys in this locker room.
I'm a Miami dude, Heat fan. And I watched Jimmy Butler try to get out of Miami. He went and stood in the corner for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And I watched him stand in that goddamn corner for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And I might have bet on that game, and I was hot.
So it's personal.
It was personal because it had to do with my pockets as well. But that thing, even the playoff P thing, it's really a switch.
Yeah.
It's that switch, turning that switch on. Mm-hmm. Where what would you say to the people that talk about NBA players like that? Like, he ain't playing hard tonight. Mm-hmm. He ain't doing, he gonna get to the playoffs and nut up. Or he gonna get to the playoffs and show out. Because this dude's that get in the playoffs, and I'd be like, where were you at for 82? Mm-hmm. What are you playing like that for now? Like that switch, turning that switch on off. What's your opinion of that? Because I think that's a big criticism of the NBA.
Yeah. You're 100% right. And I don't want to say this to knock the league, because, we making good money in the league, in the NBA. But 82 games is taxing sometimes, where it gets to a point where you on your fifth game in 6-7 nights, and that fifth game is just like, man, how do I get through this one? And mind you, in certain situations, like people dealing with shit going on at home, you might get into it with your spouse or just variables that happen that like you can't control, but now you got to take that with you, with not sleeping, getting in late, playing your fifth game on 7th, 8th night. So that, you might be a little flat that night. Yeah. So I think it just naturally happens. I don't think guys go out there and like, man, I'm a chill tonight. We don't have that mindset. But it just pan out sometimes where like, man, I'm just exhausted tonight. Mm-hmm. Like, I need somebody to carry me. It been games, and that was one of the reasons why I love playing with Russ. Shout out Russ. It was nights where I'm like, man, I'm a little flat. But then I look over here, Russ is 100%, full-fledged, he going. All right, shit, that's what I needed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I shout out those guys that when you can get those kind of guys, the Pat Bevs, the Russell Westbrooks, when you can get those energetic guys on your team, they're huge. They're huge for the program.
Going back to what RC started, talking about mental health and depression, in the bubble, you talked about those dark moments, being isolated. And I believe strongly that our platforms can help other people, especially coming from, famous people, celebrities, superstar players. Fatherhood and fame and your kids, did that allow you to become more vulnerable, where you're able to share those things that you've gone through in hopes that it can help other people?
Nah, I didn't think about it from that point of view. I think it was just me being honest with myself. And it was the first time I felt this way, you know what I mean? And it was like, man, I don't know who to talk to, who to turn to. I was holding on to it because I'm like, man, if I talk about this shit now, it's an excuse. Like, people gonna look at this like, man, he trying to opt out, he copping out on us.
Right.
But to be honest, it was just like, man, I don't know what to do here. You know what I mean? We got games. We seen the opponents after we playing. We might get into them during the game, hit the elevator, boom, there he is. Y'all go ahead and go, man. I'm gonna get the next one. And then so and then before all of that, they sold us a dream. We'll have this, that, we'll be able to tour the park. So we like, cool, at least we ain't tied to just being in one space.
Right.
Then we get there, we tied to one space. And so that was just, I didn't know what to do. I didn't fish as much as I could have fished there. I didn't play golf as much as I could play golf there. Now what? Like, now what could I do? And so it was more so just me just putting my hands up and saying, man, I'm like, help. Somebody help me. And that kind of just was the situation.
Paul George's comments shine a light on something fans don't always see: how physically and mentally demanding an 82-game NBA season really is. But it's also a controversial topic. Fans spend money expecting to see their favorite players on the court, and when stars miss games, especially for rest or minor injuries, it can feel frustrating. After all, these athletes are paid to play the full season, right? But here's the big question. Is 82 games just too much? Should the NBA shorten the season to help players stay healthier and perform better? Comment your thoughts below. Is it time for a change, or is missing games just part of the deal? Well, that's all I have for this one. I'll see you in the next video.